God says, my beloved child, within the next few moments, heaven is preparing to open a curtain that has long been drawn over your eyes. I, Archangel Michael, have stood with my sword unsheathed, circling your name in the realms of divine warfare, and today I come not with warning, but with revelation. A revelation your soul has sensed but your heart has silenced. Someone who shares your blood, your table, your laughter, your history, has been smiling in your face while poisoning your spirit behind your back. This is not to stir fear, but to free you. This is not to hurt you, but to heal what has been silently bleeding. For years, a person close to you has worn the face of loyalty while harboring seeds of envy. They watched your struggles and secretly rejoiced. They witnessed your victories and quietly hoped you would fall. And every time you extended grace, they responded with shadows. But the time of spiritual blindness is over. God has seen every hidden word, every silent wish spoken against you, every crooked conversation done in closed rooms, every name drop, every lie disguised as a joke. Heaven is no longer silent. That person has been caught not by your eyes, but by heaven's justice. They smiled in your face, but God caught the whisper behind the smile. They praised your progress, while secretly placing stones in your path. They held your hand, while thinking thoughts of how they could one day replace you. But listen to me carefully, God is not exposing this to break you down. He is revealing this because you're about to be lifted so high, He refuses to let you carry betrayal in your inner circle. I have circled their name in the spirit. I have seen the seed they planted, and I have seen the harvest they tried to block. But you, chosen one, you are about to be taken into a new level where only purity can walk beside you. Only peace can walk with you. And so, heaven is doing divine cleanup. The person who kept switching faces depending on who was in the room, the person who smiled with you and then reported you to others, the one who pretended to be your greatest support while secretly moving in jealousy, that mask has fallen. You have felt it in your spirit. You have sensed something was off, but you couldn't put your finger on it. That's because the spiritual veil was still covering it, until now. God says, I am revealing because I am releasing. I am exposing because I am elevating. I am separating because I am sanctifying you for something greater. You're not crazy. Your intuition was right. Your sixth sense wasn't lying. That subtle discomfort wasn't paranoia, it was divine discernment. And now the divine confirmation has arrived. The betrayal wasn't your fault. The pain you felt in silence is now being acknowledged in heaven. Your tears weren't ignored. Your prayers for truth have been heard. And now, my beloved, the truth is standing in front of you like a light breaking through years of dusk. In the coming days, don't be shocked when conversations shift. Don't be surprised when someone who was once close to you suddenly creates distance. That is not rejection, it is divine protection. God is pulling them away because they cannot be trusted with your future. They had access to the old you, but they will not be permitted into the new. Heaven is not being cruel, heaven is being clear. So now, prepare yourself. Because with this exposure comes promotion. With this revelation comes resurrection. The part of your heart that died when you felt betrayed is coming back to life. The version of you that trusted freely and loved purely is being restored. God says, I am going to heal you in the place they tried to break you. I am going to bless you in the same area they tried to block. And to the one reading this is not random. You were meant to see this now. Because the name that heaven whispered to you while you slept is the same name I, Archangel Michael, have circled in the courts of glory. Watch how things begin to unfold. Watch how peace replaces confusion. Watch how heaven rearranges your surroundings. This is only the beginning. Stay still. Stay pure. And stay connected. Because part 2 is already unfolding in the Spirit. God says, my beloved. The heavens are still whispering your name in the wind because your name was written not in ink, but in divine fire. The betrayal that came from within your bloodline has not gone unnoticed. You kept wondering why your blessings were blocked, why peace felt stolen, why certain things in your life never moved no matter how hard you prayed or cried. Now I must tell you, it was not your faith that failed, it was the silent sabotage of someone very close. A voice from your own household had been speaking against your rise. They pretended to celebrate you in public, but their heart harbored envy, and in the secret place, they made agreements that grieved God. You offered kindness. They gave you strategy. You offered love. They offered delay. And every time you tried to build, it was this person who pulled down what they acted like they supported. Archangel Michael says, the veil has lifted. Their disguise is being removed. And the name that has been circling in your spirit, yes, that name that randomly appeared in your dreams or made you feel a strange tension, it is not paranoia, it is discernment. God says, I gave you that sense for a reason. You've been hearing me all along. You just didn't want to believe it could be them. You tried to protect them. You excused their behavior. You even thought that your spiritual warfare was just about external enemies, but child, the enemy sat at your table. They learned your secrets not to celebrate them, but to report them to voices that wished you would fall. Archangel Michael says, I was assigned to protect you, but your silence almost cost you your destiny. That is why I had to make the storm come. That is why confusion was stirred. That is why delays became unbearable. It wasn't punishment. It was exposure. If I had let you rise with that person still attached, they would have stolen your throne from under you. Listen closely. They called your name in rooms you were never invited to. But now, God is calling their name in heaven's courts. A divine reversal is happening. You don't need to fight this in the flesh. No need to confront them. No need to argue. Just prepare yourself, because a spiritual court case is being closed. Their season in your story is done. And the next time they try to cross your boundaries, they will find angels standing like flames of fire, guarding the gates of your peace. Now, let me tell you what's next. A divine reset is happening in your family. What was once tangled will be unraveled. The blessings that were delayed will flow. The land that was stolen will be returned. God says, I am restoring your time, your peace, your joy, and your honor. And I am doing it in such a way that even your enemies will be forced to watch. I am not doing this secretly. I am doing this publicly, so the ones who tried to bury you will have to witness your bloom. Yes, I know it hurts. You loved them. You trusted them. But the snake cannot wear a crown. And God says, your royal oil must no longer be contaminated by those who never celebrated you. This is why certain people have stopped calling you. This is why someone you used to love is strangely distant. This is not rejection. This is redirection. I removed them before they could ruin you. Archangel Michael says, do not mourn the ones I removed. Celebrate the protection you did not see. Lift your eyes, my beloved, because help is already being released. A shift in your relationships is not a loss, it is a promotion in disguise. The less noise around you, the clearer you can hear heaven. And right now, heaven is speaking in your favor. Your table is being prepared. Your name is being restored. Your purpose is being honored. My precious one, you were never supposed to carry the weight of betrayal and still smile like it didn't cut you. You were never supposed to bleed in silence and pretend that nothing hurt. God has seen your strength, but He has also heard your silence. And heaven has recorded every moment you chose peace over revenge. That is why the reward coming to you will shake the very ground those people tried to walk on proudly. Because you, yes, you, refused to curse what broke you. You refused to become bitter. You chose stillness when others would have chosen violence. And God says, that posture saved your destiny. There is a reason the exposure is coming now, because you are entering a season that cannot be shared with people who only clapped when you were weak. You are walking into a harvest that cannot be touched by hands that once hoped you'd fail. That is why I had to close certain doors without your permission. That is why I removed certain people without your understanding. I know it confused you. I know it made you question your own heart. But beloved, your spiritual protection sometimes feels like a heartbreak, even when it's divine. Archangel Michael says, you have been divinely preserved from destruction that was silently circling you for years. While you thought they were cheering you on, they were building walls behind your back. But the walls they built have collapsed. Their secret words are echoing now. Heaven has ears. And the time of justice has come. Listen to me, the person God is exposing is someone you once prayed for. Someone you once defended. Someone you never thought would ever turn against you. But the same mouth that kissed your cheeks in front of others was the same mouth that poisoned your name behind closed doors. You are not crazy. That heaviness you felt in their presence was not imagination. It was the Holy Spirit trying to warn you, trying to awaken you, trying to show you, this person is no longer carrying light for you, they're carrying shade. But now the light has come. The truth is walking freely. And nothing that was hidden will stay hidden. Every alliance they formed, every whisper they spoke, every negative word they threw into the wind, it's all being reversed. Heaven is not just clearing your name, it is restoring the years they tried to steal with their jealousy, with their double tongue, with their controlling spirit. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to explain yourself. God is going to make it undeniable that you were the chosen one. The one they doubted. The one they mocked. The one they gossiped about. the one they tried to remove from the family's inner circle. And yet, you are the one who will rise in the presence of them all. Now, listen carefully. Your story is about to be rewritten. Your narrative is about to shift. The chapter of betrayal has been sealed. And the chapter of royalty has begun. This is where your voice returns. This is where your joy comes back. This is where you look in the mirror and no longer see what they did to you, you see what God kept alive inside you. Heaven is elevating you. And the snake that once wrapped itself around your memories, your hopes, your conversations, that snake has been exposed. God did not allow it to strike. He let it reveal itself just enough for it to fall by its own venom. Archangel Michael says, "This is your season of sacred separation." Anyone whose heart was not truly for you, even if their face smiled, will begin to lose access. You will feel your spirit gently disconnect. Don't fight it. Don't chase what God is removing. Let the detachment be holy. Let the silence be divine. Let your protection be your peace. Your hands have built so much, child. And now those same hands will reap what others tried to block. Not by force, not by revenge, but by glory. Glory that pours down like oil. Glory that leaves no stain of the past. Glory that shouts to the heavens, "This one was faithful. This one held on. This one passed the test." So wipe your tears. Lift your head. The throne you were promised is not just a prophecy, it's your reality. God says, "My beloved child, what if I told you that the very silence of heaven was never absence, it was divine observation? That the delay in your justice was not neglect, it was alignment. God was not ignoring your pain. He was studying their moves. He was watching who sat at your table with empty hearts and full agendas. He was waiting for the exact moment where exposure would not just reveal the lie but elevate the truth. And now that moment has come. The name is no longer hidden. The one who smiled and poisoned, hugged and harmed, promised and plotted, they have reached the edge of their influence. Their spiritual mask has cracked. The eyes of God are upon them, and heaven has made it known, you are the chosen one they should have never crossed. Archangel Michael says, you didn't deserve the silence they gave you. You didn't deserve to be misunderstood when your only language was love. You didn't deserve to be mocked in rooms where you had once defended them. But listen to me, child of light, this is not your season of suffering anymore. This is your season of separation and soaring. Heaven does not allow snakes to linger in gardens that are about to bloom. And your garden, your life, your destiny, is about to bloom in a way that will leave even your enemies speechless. They tried to rearrange your reputation, but God has rearranged your restoration. They tried to dim your spirit, but God has preserved your glow. They tried to turn people against you, but God is turning tables in your favor. And one by one, those who entertained lies will come searching for truth, and they'll find it in the strength of your smile, in the peace you carry, in the joy you walk in without bitterness. Because you, child, you didn't let the betrayal make you bitter, you let it make you better. I see how deeply you loved that person. How you saw them as family, not just by blood but by soul. You shared your secrets, your worries, your hopes. You gave them more than they ever gave you. And still they used your light to cast their shadow. Still they played both sides. Still they pretended to clap while they whispered curses. But God says, I am not blind. I am not slow. I am just strategic. And I will not let the lie live longer than its time. You have entered a holy moment. The sword of heaven has pierced through every false alliance. And where once you were covered in confusion, you are now wrapped in clarity. You can feel it, can't you? That spiritual shift. That calm in your chest. That silence that is no longer painful, but peaceful. Because the storm is over. Because the serpent has been seen. Because the trap has failed. You are not crazy for feeling what you felt. That intuition, that discomfort in certain rooms, that tightness in your spirit. It was never just emotion. It was revelation. And now that you have seen the truth, heaven is making sure you rise above it. Not through vengeance. Not through confrontation. But through undeniable favor. Through unexplainable doors. Through divine surprises that no one can block anymore. This is the season where God removes the mask of every false connection. Where every person who pretended to care but secretly competed with you will be exposed. And you won't have to say a word. The light of your life will say it all. The glow of your elevation will testify. The success you didn't beg for will announce it. And the peace you walk in will shake every voice that tried to shame you. Archangel Michael says, you will know them by how your spirit feels around them now. Trust that. Don't argue with your inner knowing. Don't silence your divine senses. If your peace withdraws, you must also withdraw. If your joy fades around them, it's time to let go. Your soul doesn't lie. And your destiny deserves better than sitting in rooms where love is conditional. Child, you were not made to live among serpents. You were born to soar among eagles. You were born to break cycles, to shift atmospheres, to restore legacies. And this exposure, this divine revelation, is not to shame you. It's to prepare you. Because what's coming next requires your circle to be clean. Your vision to be clear. Your hands to be free from those who secretly hoped you'd fail. So walk away with grace. Walk forward with strength. Walk into this next chapter knowing, God saw everything. And now, everyone else will too. God says, my beloved child, listen closely now. For what I am about to say will reach deeper than memory. This will not just touch your ears, it will land in the rooms of your soul that have been locked in confusion, where echoes of betrayal still whisper at night. The person you once prayed for is the same person who used your name in rooms you were never allowed to enter. And yet God allowed it to happen, not because He wanted you to be broken, but because He wanted the truth to rise with no more shadows. Archangel Michael stands today with a holy scroll in his hand, and on it is the name that tried to rewrite your story, but failed. This family member, the one you once believed would never turn against you, carried both a smile and a sword. They took what was sacred and turned it into strategy. They didn't destroy you in public, no, they tried to poison you in silence. And for too long, you questioned yourself. For too long, you silenced your own intuition. But no more. Because now the angels are revealing the secret spoken in whispers. And now, heaven is undoing what they tried to do. This isn't just about what was said behind your back. This is about the spiritual residue they left on your blessings. You began to feel stuck, slow, and surrounded by strange confusion. Your heart grew tired. Your mind kept spinning. Every door you knocked on seemed to answer with silence. But that wasn't you. That wasn't your fault. That wasn't your failure. That was the result of standing too close to someone who didn't deserve access to your life. But the delay is over. The fog is lifting. The snake is exposed. And your light is about to break through again. Archangel Michael says, do not confront them. That's not your battle. You don't have to prove anything. You don't need to fight for the truth to be known. God is making sure the truth rises higher than every lie. He is taking the same person who played you and showing them what it means to witness divine favor. They won't understand how you're still standing. How you're still glowing. How you're still blessed after everything they tried to sabotage. But child, that's what happens when God is your defender. When angels walk beside you. When your pain is noticed by heaven. And heaven noticed. You didn't cry alone. You didn't sit in silence for no reason. You didn't get ignored because you were wrong, you got ignored because your spirit convicted them. You reminded them of what they were not. You reminded them of purity, of light, of divine protection. And instead of loving you, they tried to break what they couldn't control. But they forgot something. You were never alone. You were never defenseless. You were never just a person, you were a prophecy in motion. Now, God is healing what they cracked. God is lifting what they tried to weigh down. God is releasing a holy protection so powerful, even their intentions will start to backfire. On their own plans. Every lie spoken about you will rot in the mouth of the liar. Every trap they set for you will become a grave for their manipulation. You, my child, are rising, not in revenge, but in reverence. Not in arrogance, but in anointing. And the person who smiled and betrayed you? They are going to watch you eat from a table heaven prepared in front of them. Not so you can shame them, but so they understand, favor cannot be faked, and purity cannot be played with. Archangel Michael wants you to understand, the reason this exposure had to happen is because your next season cannot be contaminated. You are walking into rooms where your name has already been whispered. You are about to receive blessings with instructions written in gold. And the person they tried to convince others you were, that person is dissolving in the presence of God's truth. The real you, the healed you, the protected you, the anointed you, is stepping forward now. Let this be your moment of release. Let this be the chapter where you no longer beg people to believe in your heart. Let this be the moment where you finally accept, their betrayal was never your loss, it was your liberation. They had to go so you could grow. They had to fall away so your wings could rise. God says, my child, the heavens are not silent anymore. The air around your home is shifting, because something has been declared in the Spirit. I, Archangel Michael, have stood before the throne of God and heard your name spoken not with sorrow, but with intention. God has begun to realign everything that was broken. The betrayal you faced was not random. It was permitted. And though it bruised your heart, it has birthed something sacred in you. What they meant for evil, heaven is turning into evidence of divine favor. And now, the one who once sat at your table and smiled as they plotted behind your back, their name is being removed from every future chapter of your story. You see, some people were only attached to you because of the access they gained. They were not in love with your soul, they were obsessed with your light. You brought them peace while they brought you poison. You shared your secrets while they rehearsed how to twist them. You lowered your voice so they could rise, and yet they used the silence to sabotage. But child of light, that season is over. They have been seen. And heaven is not negotiating with manipulation, your angels have been watching. Not just watching, they've been protecting. That's why things didn't work the way they planned. That's why you kept getting pulled away from certain events. That's why you suddenly felt a nudge to distance yourself from gatherings where your name was a target. God rerouted your steps not because you were lost, but because they were trying to trap you. And the trap has failed. And now something beautiful is happening. You're starting to remember who you were before you were lied on. Before they made you feel guilty for being blessed. Before you shrunk to keep the peace. You are standing taller now, not in pride, but in restoration. Your back is straight not because of ego, but because heaven has given you your name back. The name they tried to stain. The name they spoke in gossip. The name they mocked behind curtains, that name is now anointed with oil. And the person who betrayed you, child, they didn't just hurt you, they hurt God's assignment. They delayed heaven's plans by injecting confusion into your purpose. But God is not mocked. God is not silent. God is not ignoring your pain. No, my child, He is now bringing correction to what they corrupted. He is unraveling every false word they spread and replacing it with divine testimony. You will not have to defend yourself in this season, your fruit will speak. Your peace will preach. Your glow will expose every lie, the shift is happening. You may already feel it. The way your spirit is lighter. The way your heart is suddenly releasing old wounds. That is not accidental. That is the healing of heaven. The chains they placed on your joy are breaking. The weight they tried to place on your confidence is being lifted. The identity they tried to steal from you is being restored, piece by piece, hour by hour. You are not the same person who once begged to be understood. You are not the same soul who tolerated emotional thieves. You are now rising, my child. Not in noise, but in clarity. Not in chaos, but in calm. You're learning that sometimes the silence of God was not absence, it was protection. Because had He answered too soon, you might have stayed too long. And the snake would have had more time to inject its poison. Now listen carefully. There will be attempts to reconnect, to act like nothing happened, to play innocent. But I tell you now with holy urgency, do not return to what tried to bury you. Do not shrink just to be tolerated. Do not sit at tables where your presence is a threat to their deception. God is preparing a new table, not in secret, but in public. And those who doubted you, used you, and tried to manipulate your kindness, they will watch, and they will weep. Not because you failed, but because you bloomed without them. The next 7 days are marked. You will begin to feel divine clarity. The clutter in your mind will start clearing. People you were confused about will suddenly reveal their true colors without you forcing anything. Let it happen. Don't chase clarity, let God bring it to you. Your heart deserves peace. Your soul deserves truth. And your name deserves to be honored. Child, it's not just your enemies who are being exposed, it's your anointing that is being announced.